We know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends. And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th. We know that out of the 4 people on that boat, 1 did not return home. That one person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th.
You send your son out for one night with his friends. That's all this was supposed to be. One night. A boat ride to a small island off the Mississippi coast. A group of teenagers, some drinks, some laughs. The kind of night you forget by August. Except Nolan Wells never came home. 4 young people got on that boat on July 4th. Only 3 came back. And here's what should stop you cold. The 3 who returned didn't call anyone. Not the police, not the Coast Guard, not for hours. It wasn't until 11 o'clock that night that anyone reported Nolan missing. Think about that gap. A teenager is gone, and the people who were with him wait almost an entire day to say a word. His parents didn't wait. While official channels moved slowly, his mother started tracking his phone herself. What she found didn't make sense. The phone wasn't where the story said it should be. Somewhere between what the friends said happened and what the data actually showed, something doesn't add up. And it gets stranger. Before Nolan's body was even found, at least one of the friends had already brought in a lawyer. Not after being questioned. Before there was even a body. Ask yourself what that means. If your best friend drowned by accident, would your first move be calling an attorney? Or would you be too busy grieving, too busy trying to explain what happened? His parents aren't asking for sympathy anymore. They buried that need days ago. What they want now is simple. They want the truth. But when you look closer at what happened on that island, the story starts to fall apart. And it falls apart fast. Let's start with the phone. Nolan's phone ended up in the hands of one of his friends. Not his own, someone else's. It wasn't handed over willingly. His mother had to track it down herself and go get it. When she showed up, the family didn't just offer it up. She had to find it. And there's audio, Nolan's own voice, recorded before he disappeared, demanding his phone back. You can hear him asking for it, clearly, more than once. Whoever had it didn't give it back. Now look at Snapchat. For a teenager, a full day with 0 posts is strange. His mother called it exactly that. Very odd. Kids that age document everything. That day there was nothing. Then there's the location data. Life 360 placed the phone in one spot. Snapchat placed it somewhere else entirely. 2 apps, 2 different answers, and no explanation for either one. Text messages were deleted. Not lost, deleted. The car is its own story. One of the friends had access to Nolan's vehicle. At first, he claimed he didn't have the keys, didn't know where they were. It wasn't until Nolan's father pushed, directly and repeatedly, that the keys finally showed up. And here's the part that should really bother you. The next morning, while Nolan was still missing, his friends were seen out having breakfast. Not searching the island, not calling authorities. Breakfast, like it was any other Sunday. Within days, their social media accounts were wiped clean. Deactivated, scrubbed, top to bottom. None of this proves what happened to Nolan on that island. But none of it looks like grief either. Grief doesn't delete messages. Grief doesn't hide keys. Every piece of evidence points somewhere. But nobody in power has asked the one question that matters most. So why hasn't anyone been arrested? To understand that, you need to hear from someone who sat on the other side of this exact process. Carlos Moore spent over 6 years as a judge in Mississippi, across 2 jurisdictions. He's signed search warrants, he's signed arrest warrants. He knows exactly what should be happening right now, because he used to be the one making it happen. And he says the legal bar for an arrest isn't as high as you'd think. It's called probable cause. not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, just enough evidence that a crime more likely happened than not. That's the entire standard. Take the phone. Moore says that alone could already support a theft charge. Someone took it. Someone refused to give it back, even when asked directly. That's a provable crime, sitting right there, waiting for an affidavit. Then there are the questions nobody's answered publicly. Who was actually driving that boat? Who provided the alcohol to a group of underage kids? Was anyone impaired while they were out on the water? Under Mississippi law, boating under the influence is its own charge, separate from anything else. And one detail keeps coming up that nobody can explain. An adult, a parent, was reportedly on that island. Not a chaperone for the group, not someone in their age range. So why was she there? What was she doing? And who, if anyone, was she helping? Meanwhile, the sheriff's department made a public statement that foul play is not currently suspected. Moore pushed back hard on that specific phrasing. He said the honest answer, this early, is that it's too soon to know either way. Saying foul play isn't suspected, before search warrants have even been executed, sounds less like caution and more like a conclusion already reached. So ask yourself the same question people online are already asking. Does that statement sound neutral to you? Or does it sound like somebody already decided how this story ends? And that's when Moore said something that changed how people were looking at the case entirely. Here's what Moore laid out piece by piece, and it's worth slowing down for. First, the theft angle. Moore said plainly that if the phone evidence were presented to him in the proper legal format, he would sign an arrest warrant for theft, right now, based on what's already known. Not for murder, not yet, but for theft, the case is already there. Second, the timeline contradiction. The mismatch between Life 360 and Snapchat isn't just a technical glitch. It suggests the story being told publicly and the story the data tells are two different things. One of them isn't accurate, and right now nobody's explained which one. But here's what Moore did not do. He did not name a single person. He did not accuse anyone of murder. He was careful, deliberately careful, to say that the ultimate answer depends on evidence that hasn't been made public yet, namely, the autopsy. What we do know is the contrast between how the friends have responded. One of them, a young woman named Katie, has spoken openly. She hasn't lawyered up. Her family has kept talking to the press. The others have gone silent. Lawyers retained. No public statements. Now, staying quiet isn't proof of anything. It's a constitutional right, and any attorney would advise the same thing. But the pattern is still worth noticing. One person talking, the rest silent. Why the split? Moore says the potential charges, if the evidence supports them, could eventually stretch far beyond theft. Kidnapping, aggravated assault, accessory to murder, even murder itself. But every single one of those depends on evidence that still hasn't been made public. And that brings us to the piece everyone is waiting on, the autopsy. Two of them, actually. The state's official report, and an independent one the family requested separately. Until those results come back, everything else is circumstantial. But even with all of this, nobody has been arrested. And that silence might be the loudest clue of all. Somewhere behind every headline in this case, there's a mother who tracked her son's phone herself, because no one else would. There's a father who had to demand a set of car keys just to get a straight answer. They're not asking anyone to assume guilt. They've been careful about that publicly, over and over. They just want the process to actually happen. Search warrants executed, social media accounts subpoenaed, witnesses formally questioned, not just informally interviewed. Right now, key pieces are still missing. The autopsy results, any formal charges, any indication that a grand jury has even seen this case. Moore made a point of comparing this to history, and it's hard to hear without feeling the weight of it. He brought up Emmett Till, a case where overwhelming evidence never translated into accountability. He said he hopes, decades later, this case doesn't follow that same road. That's not a comfortable comparison. It's not supposed to be. To be clear, nothing here is settled. Nobody has been charged. Nobody has been convicted. This is still an open, active, unresolved case, and it deserves to be treated that way. Speculation isn't proof, and neither is suspicion, no matter how many red flags stack up. But real justice, if it comes, is going to require something specific. It's going to require the evidence to actually reach a judge, not rumors, not social media threads, an actual affidavit on an actual desk in the proper format more described. Until that happens, a family keeps waiting, a community keeps asking questions, and a teenager who should be starting his life is gone, with no answers attached to his name yet. So here's the question worth sitting with. Based on everything you just heard, do you believe this was a tragic accident? Or do you believe something else happened on that island? Type your answer below. And if you want to know the moment new evidence breaks in this case, subscribe now, because this story is far from over.